a few. So we'll be hands-on in that rebuild when the city is ready to be rebuilt. And until then, prior to that, we left to Las Vegas about a week or so ago. My in-laws lived here. My parents live here, pardon me. My parents lived here for 50 plus years. So we're back home in a way, and it's good for our children not to be with apocalyptic skies and air, and to have the comfort of Las Vegas. So overall, we're doing well, and we're excited to help with the rebuild when we're ready.
Well, we have so many friends and family and fans of Las Vegas and LA, and this community has reached out. I want to thank all of you for everything you've done. Our first responders who have gone to LA to help. It's one of those cases where we want to do everything we can, and if there is anything we can do, please let us know.
Thank you.
Stand ready to do it.
I appreciate it.
You've been with WWE 4 or 5 years now, but the organization has quite a history. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about WWE, how it got started, and how far it has come over the past 45 years or so?
Sure. So we just celebrated the 50th anniversary of WWE World Wrestling Entertainment. For those of you who may not be that close to it, WrestleMania was launched 41 years ago. This will be WrestleMania 41 coming up. It's our Super Bowl. And for our Super Bowl, we thought there would be no better place to have it than Las Vegas. WWE has become a worldwide phenomenon. It's obviously a team effort. It's a position where I inherited a great product, and where a group of us have strived very hard to build that even bigger. We launched one of our weekly properties, Monday Night Raw, 2 Mondays ago, January 6th on Netflix globally. So 25 years ago, WWE was on UPN, if anyone remembers UPN, and the National Network, which became the National Network, which became TNN, which became Spike, and now we're on Netflix. Our premium live events, formerly known as pay-per-views, so think WrestleMania, domestically on Peacock, globally also on Netflix. So the company's come a long way through the hard work of many, many people. We have fans globally, and they'll be tuning in on April 19th and 20th when we're here for WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. Been huge growth in the sport, and I assume you're looking to continue that growth. How do you, what are your goals? How do you measure that? You've got a global audience now. You and I were talking earlier that the Netflix partnership helps enable that. Can you talk about what your goals are, and both here and globally, and how that Netflix partnership helps?
Sure. So we always say, we refer to it as the 3 R's at WWE: ratings, revenue, relevance. Our ratings are up year over year for the past number of years. Our revenue, fortunately, is up over the past few years. Our relevancy, we think even part of our decision and part of your graciousness to have us in Las Vegas, we want to be in the right city at the right time. It's important, and we want to pick the right dates to go on. So if you notice, last year's WrestleMania, if you were paying attention to it, that was Final Four weekend. This year's WrestleMania is 2 weekends after that. So it's towards the end of the NBA season. We believe all eyes will be on us. Our relevancy factor will continue to increase. You saw that promotional sort of hype video that was played beforehand. Travis Scott's song Fiend across it. We did something with him at Complex Con a month or so ago at the Convention Center. And we're looking to grow in all different ways. At WWE, we always consider ourselves, Steve, as the underdog. So we're just at the starting line. We're just at the beginning of where we want to go. We want to be one of the biggest properties in the United States and all around the world. You've seen international expansion for us, again, with our biggest events, the premium live events in Germany, in France coming up, which has not yet been announced, with Lyon last year, France, Paris upcoming. So we're going to be bigger and better than I think we've already been, and we're excited to get there.
Are you looking for talent for the organization and events for the organization around the world that will continue to build to that single Super Bowl, or will you start to have those separately around the world too?
All of our events lead into all of our events, if that makes sense. So at WrestleMania, you'll see the culmination of many of our different storylines. The next day's Monday Night Raw, which will be here as well at the T-Mobile, you'll see the start of many new storylines, which then leads into our other major events. We have one premium live event per month. We have 5 of those are massive per year, WrestleMania being the biggest. We have SummerSlam 2 nights in MetLife Stadium, August 2nd and 3rd. So that's our next big one, if you will. But all eyes right now, all focus on Las Vegas and outperforming what we think the already high expectations are.
You merged, I guess now maybe a year and a half ago, with Zuffa and UFC and have formed TKO. It's a pretty cool Vegas connection for us. We're very proud of UFC and all that they have meant to Las Vegas. It seems like a great marriage here. Your tie to Las Vegas there is in part of that, I think. Can you talk a little bit about what the vision was there and how you hope to really capitalize on that partnership with UFC?
Absolutely. So we've been up and running, as you said, for almost a year and a half. And just some credit to UFC and Las Vegas for a moment. When you see the success of the Golden Knights, when you see the success of the Raiders, when you saw Legion Stadium being built, when you saw T-Mobile being built, to me, that all started with UFC. They're obviously Vegas guys, Dana White, the Fertittas at the time. They believed in the city. They believed the city could be international players, and they went out and they did it. And as much of the success, Dana White will tell you this directly, they worked their behinds off, massive team effort, they built it into a global enterprise. It helped that they were based out of Las Vegas. If you think about it, the UFC headquartered out of Jacksonville. No disrespect to Jacksonville, but it's just not the same. So the UFC, as forceful and as smart as they are, it was a perfect marriage with Las Vegas. They built this empire on September 13th of last year. We officially merged, rang the bell together in New York. The company is, in my opinion, as hot as can be. UFC, in my opinion, is the 3rd most popular sport in the United States. Football, basketball, baseball, you've seen a resurgence in it. UFC, strong. We've been able to merge our live events team, led by a gentleman named Pete Dropic, who's here today. We've merged our global partnerships team, our sales and sponsorship team. So in terms of driving revenue, getting not only the cost synergies involved in that, but the revenue synergies, it's been beneficial to both companies and TKO.
Do you see opportunities to bolt on other sports or other entertainment in TKO, or is that kind of the organization as it currently exists that you think it will be in the future?
Well, we're definitely a pure sports play. That's all that's of interest to us. There's a deal that has been announced that's subject to regulatory approval, where on location, the VIP service company that UFC and WWE is already in business with, PBR, and that's professional bull riding for those who don't know it, and IMG, the media rights and production entity, have been purchased by TKO, subject to regulatory approval, and we're always taking a look as to what else is out there, what might be of interest to us. But for now, once that transaction goes through, we feel we're well positioned.
Yeah. Well, we've got real ties here in Vegas to PBR. Obviously, have a great event that they put on. We've got the A's coming to town. John Fisher owns the A's. He also owns one of the PBR teams.
Yes.
So yeah, we think we're a potential spot for more there too. So we're excited about that. But everybody here knows Lawrence and Peter and what they've meant to Las Vegas. Some of the best thinkers about growing an economy around sports. We see that this partnership can help continue that. The production facilities, for example, that are at Apex are just fantastic. So we think that the growth of TKO is also a real possibility for the growth of Las Vegas. So we're thrilled with the marriage there and look to be a part of it in any way that we can be helpful.
By the way, if I may, so I mentioned Pete, you just mentioned Pete Dropic, Lawrence Epstein. Literally, this marriage between the Las Vegas Convention Authority and WWE came together We were here for the Super Bowl, all of us. Anyone who was in Las Vegas at that time saw how big it was and how big it felt. And I called Lawrence and Pete and said, hey, that was big, and we all thought it would be big. I think it exceeded our high expectations. And we said, we're not yet locked in for WrestleMania 2025. What do you guys think of doing it in Vegas? Lawrence and Pete said, give us a day, we'll get back to you. Call me back probably 2 hours later. We spoke to Steve Hill, who wants to get together. Can you come to town with the team? Let's all get together, sit in a room together. There's no bureaucracy that we've experienced with the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. It was, I think we want this. Deal was put together by Pete and Lawrence primarily quickly, and boom, here we are. So it's been a great experience. We always think the result is always important. The process is very important to us as well. It's been an A+ process, thanks to you.
Yeah, well, thanks to you guys too. We talk about doing things pretty fast in Las Vegas, and we do. This may be the fastest from initial conversation to actually have an event at this scale that we've done. And your team just knows how to do it well, and it was an easy conversation, and we worked through anything that we needed to work through in a matter of weeks, and that's what it takes because it's a year's worth of planning to put an event like this for sure. I mentioned earlier, I think everybody here may know, but you're a native of Las Vegas.
Yes, sir.
You've been here a lot of your life. Why don't you just tell us a little bit more about you?
So if anyone had been here in the 70s, the 1980 census said that there were 200,000 people in Las Vegas. So I was born here in 1974, Sunrise Hospital. People who don't fully understand the growth of Las Vegas will say, where'd you grow up? And I'll say it was 2 miles one way of the strip, 2 miles the other way of the strip. It wasn't that much. I went to Bonanza High School. I graduated in 92. I heard one clap. Go Bengals. Go Bengals, go Bengals. And I went to UNLV. My parents are immigrants. They came here for opportunity. They found opportunity, graduated from UNLV, and then I left to go to law school a year before UNLV opened its law school. But like I said, my in-laws are here, my parents are here, and Vegas is our home.
It has got to be a little bit special for you to be able to bring an event of this magnitude back to your hometown.
Just a quick show of hands if you don't mind. Anyone who lived here in the 80s and early 90s? So, a lot of folks. So, I was a busboy at Cafe Michelle, if anyone remembers that spot. That was the spot as we were talking about. I then went over to a Moroccan restaurant, Marrakesh, which still is in business. Just went over to a revamp, really fun place. My old college roommate owns that place now. He's doing phenomenally well. I was a waiter there. I met my wife. It's the 30th anniversary of our first date next year. We met in 1995. I took her to the Carriage House, if anyone remembers that. That rooftop restaurant that they had was our first date. I didn't have a car. She was working at the Sharper Image. As you know, in Las Vegas, it's not really the city to not have a car in, even if you're at school. So we come from pretty humble beginnings. Like many Las Vegans, we put in a lot of hard work. We got a little bit of luck on our side. And yes, it means a lot to me to have WrestleMania here. I was also an usher at WrestleMania 9 at Caesar's Palace. As I waited tables and put myself through school, there was a company that would hire folks to seat folks at different sporting events. I figured it was an easy, not only getting in for free to watch these events, but you'd actually get paid. In terms of my skills as an usher, they weren't that great. You have to seat people, and if you don't know the venue, someone would say, I'm section B, row H. I said, let me take you to your seat. Took them to the wrong seat. Someone would complain, but I got to see WrestleMania 9 live. I got to see a lot of boxing events live, and it was a fun period of life.
How did you get into the career path that you are in?
So, as I mentioned, I left to go to law school. I was a lawyer. I worked full-time through law school also. If anyone here, the lawyers, took the bar, anything like this?
Willing to admit it?
They willing to admit it, yes. So I knew for myself, I could not work full-time, study for the bar for 2 months and pass. I needed to take those 2 months off. So when you come from pretty humble beginnings, and maybe my monthly overhead at that time was like $2,000 a month, something, which now one consider, somewhat de minimis. Then it was everything. So I thought to myself, like, there's no rich uncle to borrow $5,000 from. What do I do? So this is 1999, going into 2000. At the time, I sent in a postcard to Wheel of Fortune. Got a letter in the mail, hey, come and audition for Wheel of Fortune. I went to audition. There were 1,000 people auditioning. Fortunately for me, 900 out of the 1,000 people, 900 of them were 90 years or older. So I'm sure you're familiar with the show. You go up, you do a test spin. The older folks would spin, the Z, X. I went up there, spun the wheel. I said, T. And they're like, okay, hey, you're on the show. So I went on Wheel of Fortune. I won $16,500. And when your bank account goes from 0 to $16,500, I thought, I'm never gonna have to work again. This is over. Quit my job, studied for the bar, passed the bar, started as a lawyer, was a lawyer for about 7 years in California, and then sort of realized, like, hey, I'd like to try to do something different than that. And ultimately got into business with an unknown fighter at the time, boxer. When I was a lawyer, this was in 03, 04, a gentleman named Manny Pacquiao, who obviously became a big, big deal, and from there transitioned over, became an agent at Creative Artists Agency, CAA, where I ultimately became the co-head of the television department, representing leagues, the Southeastern Conference, WWE, and their media rights deals. And in representing broadcasters, if anyone's a college football fan, Kirk Herbstreit, Reese Davis, folks like this in their deals. And as an agent representing WWE, I got to be close to the company. Triple H, real name Paul Levesque, who's the head of our creative and who helps to run the company on a day-to-day basis. He and I had a relationship, and ultimately I was offered the position to come in there as a president in August of 2020.
So the whole key was spinning the wheel and saying T, huh?
It's one of those moments, Stephen, you know this, I'm sure it's happened in your life, where you needed something to happen, or other things could not happen. I got lucky, 16.5, changed my life, and here we are.
It's a fantastic story. I'm glad I asked the question. I didn't know that.
My children found it on the internet, by the way. So I'm not suggesting anyone's going to watch it, but if you do watch it and you say, wow, you're a lot slimmer then, and wow, your hair was a lot more black then, yes, that was 25 years ago.
At least you still have hair, so
Still have
I'm
hair.
jealous.
Yeah.
So I know this community means a lot to you. And blending WrestleMania with Las Vegas, I know means a lot to you. You've talked about it. Can you talk a little bit about how you're leaning into the community at the event and around the event?
Absolutely. And by the way, I said WWE, we consider ourselves an underdog organization. This is a town for underdogs. That means this is a town for fighters. People who have a dream can come here, they can realize their dreams. So I like that marriage in many, many ways. If you work hard in Las Vegas, if you get a little bit of luck, your dreams can actually come to fruition. It's not that way in certain cities. There's an establishment, there's sort of, a lot of the old guard. Here, it's all fresh thinking. So I wanted to acknowledge that about the city first. In terms of our community outreach, I believe WWE is top shelf in what we do the week of WrestleMania. It'll be a week-long event. So remove the 2 nights of WrestleMania. Remove Friday Night SmackDown on USA, also at the T-Mobile. Remove the Monday night show that I mentioned as well at T-Mobile. The entire week will be activated in the community. Our wrestlers, known as the superstars, they're all hands-on with this. We want to give back. We want to leave any city we go to better than we found it. Again, Vegas, top-tier city, tough to leave it better than you found it. But if we can leave it in an emotional way for folks who like the outreach of WWE, we want to do everything we can to make sure that our presence is felt. And you'll feel it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Let's talk about the event itself. I'm sure there are some fans in the audience and probably some folks who have not really had a lot of experience with WWE or WrestleMania. And I don't know that many people, if they haven't actually been, understand the scope of the WrestleMania event and the breadth of time and the number of people that it attracts. So you just kind of talk through the event itself.
Absolutely. So again, WrestleMania, keep in mind in 1989, WWF at the time, now WWE, announced that we have predetermined outcomes. So please don't sit there thinking that I think the outcomes are real. The athleticism is real. The pageantry is real. What it takes for that level of storytelling is real. It's predetermined outcomes. So what you're going to see at our event, 50% of the people who attend our events attend with a child. 40% of our viewing audience are women. So you are going to see a multicultural, multi-generational event take place where everybody leaves happy. So a little different than other sports, if you will. If the Golden Knights are on their run and they lose that Stanley Cup game, people are going home sad or disappointed. With us, the goal is that everybody goes home happy. I think that's what you'll see. You'll see we sold more tickets in the first 72 hours for this event in terms of ticket revenue than in the history of WWE for any event. And that went on sale 3 months ago. So people are excited about it. We have 3 months left to go. Assume we're going to promote it in a way that we think only WWE and our sister company UFC can. We have over 100 million social media followers. That doesn't include our wrestlers. We're the 10th most subscribed to YouTube channel. It's not like NBA is number 6 and we're 10th. There's no sports or sports-esque league in the top 10 other than WWE. You have Coco Melon, if anyone knows what that is. You have a number of, if you do, that means you have children. There's Indian music channels, Mr. Beast, also that means you have children. And then there's us, WWE. So you'll see that people watch our old events going into our new events. It becomes a nostalgic thing for them. So look for a lot of folks in town. Some will be dressed up like The Undertaker. Don't be scared by that. Our fans are friendly. Some like Andre the Giant, and people will be here to have a good time.
Well, you've got, we have a goal here at the LVCVA and for the city that we have a marquee event first or second quarter every year. It's a tough thing to do. There are not that many real, true marquee events available. Super Bowl, College Football National Championship, Final Four, and WrestleMania. And what's different about WrestleMania than those other events is you've got 4 nights of it. There are 2. We're showing the dates for April 19th and 20th for WrestleMania at the stadium. Those will clearly be sellouts. But you also have some shoulder events, and then you're out in the community. So can you talk a little bit about what else you bring to Las Vegas around WrestleMania and the Friday night event, the Monday Night Raw? What else will be happening in Las Vegas?
Yeah, so number one, and this has not yet been announced, but we will be having WWE World for the entirety of WrestleMania weekend, which again starts well in
It
advance.
has now been announced.
I figure a little break for us up here might be interesting. So that's our fan convention, if you will. Fanatics, there are partners on it. We launched it this past WrestleMania in Philadelphia. Over 40,000 people showed up and paid to attend in totality. So our fans are looking to do something during the day. We had mentioned earlier, we had discussed earlier, we have Friday Night SmackDown, we have Monday Night Raw. WWE World will be every day across each and every one of those days. You'll see legendary wrestlers there. We have an entrance ramp for anyone who watches the product where you can do your own personalized entrance to any of our superstars' music. It gives someone a take-home moment. And a lot of other surprises in store for the upcoming WWE World, but that's one we're excited about. And again, we'll be here prior to Friday Night SmackDown in the community, obviously promoting the show, promoting the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, and promoting the city of Las Vegas globally.
It is a marquee event. It is a spotlight on Las Vegas. As we look at events, we look at bringing people down, putting heads in beds, and the economic impact of that. We also look at the marketing value that these marquee events bring to the city. You and I were talking a little earlier about your global reach, what your new media deal with Netflix allows. Can you talk about what the eyeballs that will be on Las Vegas? It's a massive number.
So, for example, I mentioned WrestleMania in the United States will be on Peacock. 80% of the globe, it'll be on Netflix. What we've already seen from Raw, for example, Monday Night Raw, which globally is on Netflix. Viewership in Brazil up like 2,000%. Viewership in Mexico up significantly. Viewership across Europe up massively. It's easy, as we all know here. For anyone who has Netflix, it's a phenomenal streaming system that always works. And we've now tested it. We've had the feeds from the international markets to make sure we have the local dialect right. We produce all of our own product, like UFC produces all of its own product. Make sure the dialect is right. Make sure everything is done properly. I and many others will watch each one of those after the fact to make sure it's done the way that we want. So Las Vegas will be broadcast, again, United States on Peacock, where we've had record viewership on Peacock for our events year over year, breaking the prior year's record. In the globe, across the board on Netflix, there's going to be massive tune-in. And again, we're going to promote not just on social media, but in these international markets on the ground that, hey, coming to you April 19th and 20th, WrestleMania, make sure to tune in. And we have high expectations.
Yeah, we're excited about it. You'll have all the big names here, I assume. I've heard John Cena, this might be his last WrestleMania, is that right?
This is John Cena's last WrestleMania. And when Cena tells you this year is it for him, that means that's it. You're not going to see it as you do in other sports. Well, no, I decided to unretire. He has made a phenomenal life for himself. He's been a massive contributor to WWE's success. This will be his final run. This will be his final match in Las Vegas. It'll be his final WrestleMania. We're excited for it. We're excited for him, and he's excited. And yes, we'll have other big names there as well.
All those storylines are what everybody wants to follow headed into April. Nick, we're really excited. I want to thank you for bringing this event to Las Vegas, you and your team. It's going to be a spectacular merging of two of the biggest brands in the world. And it is going to elevate Las Vegas. It's going to elevate WWE and WrestleMania. The whole city's looking forward to it, as am I. Thank you for being here today. I know all that you've had to go through in order to make this happen, and I appreciate that commitment too. We're excited. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Cotton.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you being here.